Hi there, I'm Chef Celeste, and welcome to My Louisiana Kitchen, where I'll take you all around Louisiana through food. And today's episode is no different. We're talking beef. We're making cowboy steaks with potatoes. So stay tuned, because I know you're not going to want to miss this one. Okay, so first off, we have this beautiful cut of meat right here. This is gonna be the star of the show. So let me pull this up real quick, because I want you to see this here. You see how it's just a nice, thick piece of meat. So this is gonna feed about 6 people, unless you're well, you'll be a happy person, but unless you're one hungry person. So the first thing I wanna do is just trim this off a little more. I'm gonna take my knife, and I'm gonna go down, you can actually stand it up, and just kind of trim off a little more of this fat off the bone. And this is called Frenching. So when you take this down, that's what you're gonna do, just cut it all the way down. And you notice I have it on a separate cutting board because I don't want to mess up my other pretty cutting board and just get the meat all over it. So we're not gonna do that. So you see how I'm just pulling this off. I'm not gonna take all of it off, but you want this just nice and clean. So the other side is already done. There's nothing coming off here, okay? So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna toss it in the trash, which I have right up under me. And then I'm going to take a little more fat from the side. So I'm just gonna trim that right here. Some fat is good, but I don't want it too fatty on here. So however much you like, leave it on there, it's okay. But I choose to take a good bit of it off. It still has a lot of marbling in here, so it's still going to be nice, tender, and juicy. So I like to use one of my favorite butchers, Catrier's, back in Baton Rouge, where I'm from. I'm actually on location in New York right now, so out here having a bit of a trip and some fun. So let's take a little more of this off. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it right here. So there we go, right here. Now, look at that, nice and trim. So now we're gonna go into our seasoning blends. I have some celery, some carrots and onions on here, and some potatoes that's gonna go along with this dish. But on the board, I have my salt, my steak seasoning. This is the Chef Celeste Senior Seasonings. I have my steak seasoning on here. I have a little bit of fresh parsley on here and some salt. So we're going to add that. This has all the garlic and everything in there, so all your flavoring will be in there. In the pan, I've put olive oil in here already, so that's already going for me. My oven is preheated to 425. You can also cook this outside as well. I don't grill as much, so you probably won't see me doing a lot of outdoor cooking, but this would be awesome on the pit if that's what you like to do. You all already know I like making roux, because I like to stand there and daydream while I'm it's like muscle memory for me. So I stay there and I kind of daydream while I'm stirring the roux, watching the different stages and all of that. So same thing with the pit. If that's what you like to do, then by all means go on out there, make yourself happy on the grill. You know, do what makes you happy. So I have a good bit of this. Is about a tablespoon of each one. Salt, the steak seasoning, my parsley. Don't put paprika on here, or it's gonna darken too fast for you, okay? Look at that, nice and coated. It's gonna go into my skillet. You hear that sizzle? That is a nice sizzle. I'm gonna let this go for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna turn it, and then you'll see what we do after that. But right now, I'm gonna clean my hands and I'll be right back. All right, now I'm gonna flip this to the other side. Look at that, doesn't that look good? Starting to get a little color on it. I don't want it too brown, because it is going in the oven. It's gonna finish off in the oven. But look at that. It smells amazing, and it's not a lot on here yet. That's my steak seasoning, And we have the, again, the parsley on here, the salt is on here. I don't oversalt my food, so whenever you're listening to my recipes or anything like that, if you like more salt in there, then by all means, just add more. So I'm gonna take some cloves of garlic now, add a couple in here. And then while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get my skillet warmed a little bit for the potatoes, okay? So now, get this garlic going. Just gonna smash that a little bit to open it up. And look at this, just 3 cloves, ready to go in. And what I like to do, I run into a lot of people lately that they just don't cook a lot. But that's okay, because my recipes are simple enough that you can get in here and even the beginners can come on in, make a nice meal. And for our intermediate and advanced, just embellish on everything. So with that being said, folks, I am working on a cookbook. So it's in the writing stages right now. So I should be complete with the recipes in about a week. And then we get to testing everything out and editing, and you will have your cookbook in the next few months. So definitely we'll probably do a pre-sale on that, so you'll know when it's time. Let me get a knife over here. This is not the same knife here. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit of red onion. Now this is being prepped to go in the oven, so these are the things that I want on my steak when I put it in the oven. Why? Because that's what I want on my steak when I put it in the oven. So when I pull it out, I just have a visual of what I want to see and what I want to taste when it comes out of the oven. So this is what I'm going to add on here. If you want mushrooms or anything like that on yours, feel free to do that. I'm just doing a nice little julienne on here. Again, nothing fancy. You can get fancy with it if you want, but first off, you need to know the basics, okay? So let's just break this up, put this in, put that on the side, put some on top. We're ready for the oven. I'll be right back. All right, now we have the steak in the oven on 425. That's gonna take about 15 minutes. We're gonna go bring it out at about 125 degrees, or the press test. Now we're going to work on our potatoes. That's going to go with that. We have some nice new potatoes with a little bit of garlic. I have some salt and pepper on here, just lightly salt and pepper, but I am going to add more. So let's put this in. I have olive oil in the skillet already. I have some salt in my hand. Let's get that on there. We have some carrots and onions that's already diced. Get all of that out. Waste not, want not. Then I have my celery. That's pre-cut as well. And this is just going to add a nice flavor to it. Rosemary is going in there, but not right at this point because it will burn. So I'm just going to saute this to give it a little bit of color. And it's going to help to speed up the cooking time for when the steak is ready. So let this go for a little bit. And one thing, like with the steak potatoes, try and vary it up a little bit. Sometimes, a lot of times you want to do a baked potato with it. Baked potatoes are good, I like them, but why not do a little roasted potatoes with it and just add a little different flavoring to it, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of garlic, something like that, or do a nice garlic mashed potato. You can do some sweet potatoes to go along with this here. And I guess if you can't tell, as far as starches goes, I love potatoes. So a lot of times people ask me, what is my favorite thing to eat? And I'm like, potato chips, because it is. But do I eat potato chips all the time? No, I don't, because you have to do everything in moderation. But I like potatoes in just about any form. But just a nice, simple, rustic potato is actually my favorite. And we, no matter where you grow, where you live, see if you have a farmer's market, because somebody around in your area is growing potatoes. So try and eat local and close to home whenever possible. I'm just moving this around here just to kind of move it in the pan, and just because I like to just move stuff around. But you see this recipe, it's so simple, it's so easy, but it's delicious. I like to keep my flavors as clean as possible. That way, when you're tasting the food, you can taste every ingredient that is in here. That way, you know, sometimes we can overcomplicate things with too many ingredients and too many different flavors that are competing to be the star of the show. Right now, we have one star, that's that steak that's in there. This is gonna have the supporting role here, but it's not going to overpower that steak. So keep that in mind when you're cooking. You want everything to blend well together. We're going to have different textures in here because the potatoes are going to be soft. I'm still going to have a little crunch from the carrots and the celery. So that's going to give it a nice feel when you bite into it. And this is actually going to finish off in the oven with the steaks. So we have, as a recap, because this is going to be nice and simple, we have our steak, we're going to have potatoes, and you're going to have a nice little salad to go along with that. So this is great for date night. This is going to be great for Mother's Day, Father's Day. I don't know about you, but for Father's Day, I love to make a good steak for somebody, you know, for all the guys in my life. And when I say guys in my life, I'm working with a lot of seniors as well, so we make sure that they have steaks out, actually over at Southside Gardens Retirement. We make sure they have steaks in there too. So we're going to put this in the oven, and then we're going to come back. We're going to put a nice little quick, easy salad together, and we're going to pull this whole meal together for you, okay? And you'll see how nice, simple, delicious this is, all right? We'll be right back. All right, so folks, we are so ready. I'm ready. I don't know about you, but potatoes are out of the oven looking pretty. I put that little sprig of rosemary on top. Steak is resting. Look at this cowboy right here. That is so gorgeous. But now we're going to make this salad. So we're going to do a nice orzo salad to go along with it. And remember, this one here, like I told you, I have a lot of vegetarian as well as vegan customers and friends. So this will be something, you notice I didn't put the potatoes with the steak. They're in their own separate bowl. It's going to be a warm salad. You can also make it nice and cold if you want to. But since in the studio right now, I don't have any vegetarians or vegans in here. That's why everything is on one board. So, but use a separate board, you know, when you're at home and you're doing it for friends and family, okay? I have the onions going in. I have some cherry tomatoes that I'm just going to cut in half. So let me get these going in, and I'm going to drop them in. Like I said, nice, simple, delicious food. This is so easy to make. The orzo salad, you get your water boiling, salt your water because this is a pasta. Whenever you're doing a pasta, you need to add some salt into the water. We're going to add a little bit of this fresh parsley, and I have some celery also. So I like to do the celery tops. Nice large chunks in here. Garlic, fresh garlic going in. Give that a medium chop. And then the one thing about garlic, if you're eating garlic, the people you're around, feed them garlic too. So y'all smell like garlic. So you don't have to worry about, oh, my breath smells like garlic. So does theirs. So that's just a little trick, okay? Also, you can put garlic in the oven so that when your company comes over, your house just smells amazing. Fresh rosemary. I'm gonna chop some of that up. But in this skillet over here too, you're gonna have a treat also, because not only is this steak delicious all by itself, but it needs a little help. Well, it doesn't need help, I'm gonna add some company to it. How's that? Because it is delicious. And I wanna thank Sherelle and Lois over at the Sam's Club in Baton Rouge, because they actually pointed me in the direction of this beautiful steak. We were talking on my way out and they were like, I wanna come and eat some of that. I'm like, come on to New York with me, you can eat some of that. So ladies, thank you so much. You were so helpful and delightful, and I appreciate it. So, got that going in. Look at this right here. I don't know if you can, let me let you see that. Again, simplicity at its best. Then we're gonna add a little bit of salt. I put some salt on my board, you know, I like my plates and boards. And then we're gonna add a little bit of my, I was gonna add some, I'm gonna add honey mustard in here. For you all, if you're doing this for a vegan, do not add the honey in there because that is a animal product. If you didn't know that, now you know. This is vegetarian friendly though. Okay, now I want some black pepper in here. Just crack a little bit of that to go in. And let's put this all together. Nice and simple. All right, when we come back, actually, we're not even going anywhere. Stay right there. We have some butter in the skillet. I have the rosemary in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of my hoisin sauce. Just 3 squeezes of that. About a tablespoon of my honey mustard going in, nothing else. So let that set for a minute. So now we have our potatoes, we have our orzo salad that is ready. I didn't put any oil in the orzo. You can add whatever flavorings in there. If you want to put a vinaigrette in there, that's fine as well. So now let's cut into this baby right here. See these juices running? That's some good stuff. That's why you want to let your meat rest for a minute, because if I would have taken this out of the oven and immediately cut into it, all the juices would have come out. So this is my favorite part right here. Let's give that a nice slice. Look at that. And as you get closer to the center, you'll see that it's a little bit of something in here for everybody. Look at that. And just slice. Everybody can come up and just grab a slice. My mouth is watering right now. I don't know about yours, but it should be, because this is delicious. But I'm gonna cut this part right here. We're going in here, we're gonna mix that in there. And again, I am Chef Celeste. You're watching My Louisiana Kitchen, where I've taken you around Louisiana through food. You can catch me on Instagram at Chef Celeste Gill. You can catch me on Facebook at the same. And remember, like, share, and follow, because that cookbook is coming out soon. I'll see you later.